Hello, everyone. I'm back. It's Danya Purr. It's totally 1:20 in the morning. I just keep getting later and later with these things. I be watching TV, doing the do's or whatever, handling business, and I be losing track of time. But that's besides the point. So, today's episode is on love. Love. And this is such a hard topic because let me just say this as like a person who's been with God for over a year now. Falling in love with God was not hard. It's actually surprisingly very easy and very fast. I'm a slow lover. I have boundaries. Thick boundaries. So the fact that I fell in love with God in an instant was weird. It was like, am I sure about this? Am I sure I'm in love? I know what I feel. It was an overwhelming love that wouldn't go away. And for my slow lovers out there, for my people who don't even want to love, I'll tell you the secret to finding the love of your life. Love God first. And I say that because if God is your first real relationship, you'll know how to love everyone else around you. Spouses, mother, sister, brother, friend. Even people you don't know. You love them. Because the first commandment, love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul. And the second commandment, love thy neighbor. And as a young adult, really, going into my first year of college, it's so hard being surrounded by so many things that are unholy and be in that state of a loving mindset. Because with love comes everything else. Every principle that we live by. Love is always first. And I know people who struggle with relationships because I do too. I'm not the first person to go and be with a dude or want a relationship in that matter. It's kind of like a fear. And it's not necessarily a fear of it ending. It's a fear of losing myself again. Because even though I don't count relationships, I have been with encounters with dudes, and it never ends pretty. I always have that bad taste in guys. The ones that are bad for you, but you wish that they weren't bad for you, so you try to change them anyway. You keep hoping that they're good for you. In reality, they're bad for you. Yeah. But even then, I think to myself, would God want me in a relationship that would just end? What's the point of that? That's my mindset is. And really, to be honest, I don't really think we should have that mindset of how we should love people, relationships, or anything, because then that creates a boundary. It creates an expectation. I expect dudes to love me in a loving way and then rip out my heart, and boom, back where I started building myself up again, right? And as soon as I expect that from other people, it bounces off onto people who don't even associate with that. It affects everything. everything. And this episode is really raw and uncut. Talking to you as I speak. But really, the whole point of this is love is an amazing thing that we have. Love can conquer the world. Love is the one thing that we can trust. And if we let someone take it away from us, you're taking the greatest weapon that we could ever use in life. Because love is greater than hate. It always has been, always will be. Sometimes it's very hard to love for people who have boundaries because they're scared to get hurt again, or they don't have time for a dude. And sometimes thinking about dudes is very hard because you know you don't have time for them, but you can't resist the desires that you do have. I understand. And even being a follower of Christ, you can't just go out and date anyone and just do anything anymore. You have a responsibility. But what I would say is the only way you would grow is if you do live your life, including relationships, loving people who you don't really see on the daily, and even loving your next door neighbor. Because it's funny how we don't connect things, but God does. How He'll send us into something and we're just like, why would you do that? Like, what's the point? But He sees something that we can never see. And it all comes with trust, openness, and love. So there's a Bible verse where He talks about love and the definition of it and what it is. And really, it's the definition of God, if you want to say. Because God is love. He created it, created love. So, if you want to figure out God, go to that verse. It's love is not boastful, love is kind. It does not count any of your wrongs or keep track of your wrongs. I don't know verbatim, but I have read it before multiple times. Don't quote me on my Bible skills. I know it when I see it. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about love. It's not necessary. And let's just say this. You're not always going to get it right the first time, because I know as people, when you're not in a relationship and you just want to be with the love of your life the first time, but even though relationships that won't last, they have a purpose. You learn stuff about yourself, about what you want in someone and what you don't want in someone, You learn to look for the red flags, the things that tick you off, and you develop many principles in relationships, even if they don't work. But those are all obstacles just to get to your one. So really, being in relationships that don't have an ending are actually kind of useful. Because I try to convince myself I'm only going to date the person that I'm going to marry, and how would I know if I don't date the person I'm not going to marry first? Except first, before God, I did just wanted to have fun, and after God, I let that go. I let go of just wanting to have fun and do whatever, because Everything has a purpose now. But even then, with some relationships, you can still do. Just listen to the Holy Spirit. I'm not saying go out there and do whatever, but don't put yourself in a box where you're suffocating or making yourself suffer because you have this desire that you can't get rid of. God won't get rid of it. Trust me, I tried. And everything else, like, there's no point for you to go through that. God doesn't want you to. I don't want you to. And you don't want you to. It's hard to let feelings die when you don't want them to. But just trust the Holy Spirit anyway. He sits on your heart. Trust your instincts. Okay, that's it about love, you know. It's just a little something. Like always, have a blessed night, blessed day, blessed everything. Peace.